The festive specials have always had a bit of a divisive reputation for most fans, but I thought I'd take a quick look at each showrunner's take on Christmas or holiday type stories and see how they changed and evolved over time, starting of course with Russell T Davies. Now, with Russell, there are two types of festive stories. On the one hand, you've got the Christmas Invasion and the End of Time, which, because they serve as major tentpoles in the ongoing story arcs, i.e. the introduction of the 10th Doctor and his departure, it made sense to somewhat make all the holiday aspects a bit of a background detail, so it was very much story first, special second, which I think is the right course of action. Bar a few subtle references to the fact that it's the holiday season, it's not really given that much focus, bar the action sequence in Christmas Invasion with the pilot fish and the tree, which isn't strictly necessary, but it's a fun but it's still a welcome addition to the story. I think the End of Time takes it a step too far by kind of making it purely character focused for the most part, meaning that the central plot is incredibly messy and probably one of Russell's lazier stories, but if you are invested in the character drama, you're probably going to be able to overlook it. In contrast, you have Voyage of the Damned and The Next Doctor, which are likely closer to what people associate with the festive specials, being a lot more bombastic and cheesy. Since they're not really that connected to the ongoing story and are fairly standalone, they take a more experimental approach, which I do like. Voyage of the Damned fully commits to being a cheesy disaster film, whereas The Next Doctor, because it relies so heavily on the gimmick of the Cybermen returning and the supposed brand new Doctor, it does mean that in rewatches, because those aspects sort of fizzle out across the episode, it isn't that engaging and is slightly forgettable. I think The Runaway Bride sits somewhere in between the middle of these, which does lead to a bit of tonal whiplash, as sometimes the comedy is so extreme that the more serious moments do come off as a bit awkward. But overall, elements like the chase sequence make up for it. But what do you think of Russell's festive specials? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.